This video was taped under actual job site conditions. During the course of this video, you will see people working both with and without the appropriate safety equipment. Proper safety equipment for MONOKOTE fireproofing includes, but is not limited to, the use of a mask, eye protection, gloves, and a mixer dust cover. Proper safety equipment should always be utilized as recommended in Grace's material safety data sheets. Before working with any product, it is important that you obtain the correct safety information governing its use and adhere to the recommended safety practices at all times. MONOKOTE is a superior fireproofing material that meets or exceeds the highest standards for quality and in-place performance. Manufactured by Grace Construction Products, MONOKOTE fireproofing meets all durability standards in the fireproofing industry, including air erosion, bond strength, and impact and abrasion resistance. Application of MONOKOTE type mK6 calls for the use of MONOKOTE accelerator, which increases yield and lowers in-place cost. This video will introduce you to MONOKOTE 6 application procedures. It includes pre-job planning, pump station setup, mixing, conveying, spraying, cleanup, and washout procedures. There are several basic issues that must be settled with the general contractor before a job starts. Try to select a permanent pump location in an area with good drainage. Make sure there is access for material delivery as well as a protected area for storage. Arrangements for proper heat and ventilation should be made. Be certain you will have access to clean water with sufficient volume and pressure, adequate electrical service, and a suitable area for washout. The building itself must be suitably prepared for fireproofing. All surfaces must be free of oil, paints and primers, loose mill scale, dirt, or other substances which may impair adhesion to the substrate. Primed surfaces need particular attention, and pre-job bond testing is strongly recommended. Coordinate the application schedule so that you're on the floor as soon as possible after the concrete is poured and before other trades begin their work. Working around obstacles such as hanging pipes and ducts, stacked wallboard and boxes severely hampers production and increases labor costs. Before fireproofing, the roof system must be complete and watertight. Roof traffic must cease during application until the fireproofing is completely dry. Tarps are often needed for overspray protection, wind reduction during spraying, and for protection of interior surfaces. Begin equipment setup by placing the pump in position. Place the mixer over the pump hopper. Conventional paddle mixers should be able to rotate into the complete dump position. Construct a sturdy work platform at a height that makes the mixerman's waist even with the top of the mixer. The platform should be large enough to move around on easily with room for a small supply of MONOKOTE. The entire pump station should be well covered. Material storage should be close enough for easy access and should be well protected from the weather. Grace has developed an injection system that introduces an accelerator solution into the flow of MONOKOTE at the nozzle. A reaction between the accelerator and MONOKOTE causes the material to swell as it leaves the nozzle. Therefore, injection greatly increases yield and coverage. Accelerator also flash sets the MONOKOTE, allowing a second pass to be applied within 15 minutes. The mixing process is the starting point for efficient MONOKOTE application. The target mixer density range for MONOKOTE 6 is 41 to 45 pounds per cubic foot. This is usually achieved by using 8.5 to 9.5 gallons of water per bag of MONOKOTE. With conventional paddle mixers, mix for about 1.5 minutes at approximately 35 to 40 mixer RPM. Use a water meter to assure consistent batches. The mechanical inline meter and the timed sump pump are the two most popular types. The inside of the mixer should be kept free of dry material clumps that can clog pump balls and seats. Do this by allowing the mixer blades to turn while adding the water. Using a washdown hose to spray the mixer blades and sides of the pump hopper prevents dry material buildup as well. A number of continuous mixers are available. They require only the addition of dry material. They add water and mix material automatically, producing a consistent mix. The continuous mixer blade should be capable of achieving the target mixer density of 41 to 45 PCF at 8.5 to 9.5 gallons per bag. The pump is the heart of every monocote operation. There are several high production modifications that can be made to mechanical pumps. A variety of hydraulic pumps are also available to the fireproofing industry. The optimum high production conveying system starts with a 3-inch pump manifold. It should be equipped with a safety blowout plug and a pressure relief valve. Install a ball valve between the manifold and surge hose. Connect the surge hose to the standpipe for long horizontal or vertical runs. Reduce the standpipe to a 2-inch high pressure plaster hose. The last 2 sections should be a 1.5-inch hose reduced to a 1.25-inch whip hose. Then attach the nozzle. The orifice should be as large as possible while still obtaining a good spray pattern. A 9/16 or 5/8 inch orifice is best for most applications. At low pumping rates, a smaller orifice will be needed. An orifice shield is highly recommended to reduce overspray and provide a well-defined spray cone. All reducers should be full flow and long tapered. Heavy-duty Victaulic type couplings are full flow and easy to disconnect. Because MONOKOTE 6 pumps with relatively low pressure, the opportunity to make parts of the conveying system smaller may exist. In some situations, hose can replace the standpipe, and the floor hose size can be reduced for easier movement. A 1-inch whip hose is lighter and easier to handle. The size of the conveying system should always be matched to the pumping volume and pressure. All scaffolding should comply with local safety regulations and be equipped with waist-high railings and large wheels for easy movement. An open grate platform allows material to fall through and prevents slippery buildup. When spraying MONOKOTE 6, there are several things to keep in mind. Keep the pumping rate at a reasonable level to avoid excess waste and loss of thickness control. Use as little air as possible while still obtaining a good spray pattern. Keep the pattern directed at the steel and use the entire spray pattern. Measure the thickness while spraying. Anticipation of material swell increases the benefit of injection. When spraying beams requiring a 1/2-inch thickness, a short version of the special injection nozzle is usually attached to an extension pole with a ball valve. This assembly is mounted on a swivel for easy rotation of the nozzle. This nozzle setup allows more area to be covered faster with less movement when lighter thicknesses are required. The sequence for spraying a 1/2-inch beam should be as follows. Use the bottom of the spray pattern to build the flange tip, allowing the remainder of the spray pattern to cover the web and top flange. Then add thickness to the top flange and web as necessary. Next, spray the top of the bottom flange while continuing to build the flange tip. Keeping the pattern at 45 degrees, fill the flutes with a side-to-side motion. When more than one coat is necessary for beams requiring thicknesses of 7/8 of an inch and greater, a long version of the injection nozzle directly mounted to a swivel is preferred. This setup is lightweight and allows for accurate placement of material. For heavier thicknesses, spray the scratch coat as follows. Using the bottom of the pattern, spray the bottom flange, allowing the overspray to hit the web and top flange. Roll the top of the bottom flange to full thickness. Using the bottom of the spray pattern, close and build the flange tip while the remainder of the spray pattern hits the web. Then fill the flutes. When spraying the second coat, pay particular attention to the bottom flange tip. Add material to full thickness on the bottom flange and in the web area. On the final pass, thickness should be checked often. When spraying columns, the following technique is recommended. Spray both outside flange tips, allowing the overspray to go into the web. Next, spray the inside flanges while using the outside of the spray pattern to build the flange tip. Finish the column by adding thickness to the web. Bar joists are perhaps the most difficult type of steel to spray due to the small sizes of the steel segments and the higher fireproofing thickness. Fiberglass scrim or plastic netting should be used to cover the joist to reduce the amount of overspray. To attach plastic netting or scrim, pre-cut the roll to fit snugly between the top and bottom cord of the joist. Construction adhesives are the best means to attach the netting. Plastic gloves should be worn for protection. The adhesive should be applied to the cords and bars of the joist. Unroll the netting and firmly press it into the adhesive. Use a small trowel to spread the adhesive. Cut the netting around obstacles with scissors. When the adhesive is fully cured, spraying should start on the netted side of the joist. Spray the joist in the following manner. Holding the nozzle close to the steel, spray the top cord, allowing the top of the pattern to fill the flutes. Spray the bottom flange while building the flange tip. Spray the bottom cord as you continue to build the flange. Keep the nozzle close and spray the contour of the bars. It's particularly advisable to use an orifice shield when spraying bar joists to keep a tight spray pattern. For the best results when cleaning floors, scrape the floor as soon as possible after spraying. Never allow the material to dry before scraping. Certain conditions, such as multiple pass spraying and hot, dry weather, require special consideration. Consult your local Grace representative for the best method for your specific situation. The sponge-out procedure is recommended as the most thorough washout of the conveying system. Pump water to the nozzle, then stop the pump and remove the nozzle. Close the ball valve at the end of the surge hose. Remove the surge hose from the manifold and insert a soft 3-inch sponge. Connect the surge hose to the manifold, open the ball valve, and continue to pump water. Wait at the end of the whip hose and catch the sponge when it exits the hose. By injecting MONOKOTE accelerator into MONOKOTE type mK6, you will achieve higher yields, flash set, and lower in-place cost. Manufactured by Grace Construction Products, MONOKOTE fireproofing offers long-term durability. From small buildings to the tallest high-rises, MONOKOTE fireproofing remains intact on the steel for the design life of the structure.